Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into Britt Andreatta's Wired to Connect. It's a book that really gets into something fundamental, doesn't it? This whole idea of connection and teamwork.
It really does. And what I find compelling is that it moves beyond just saying teamwork is good. It gets into the why, the actual brain science.
Exactly. Why we're wired this way.
Yeah.
So our goal today, for you listening, is to unpack some of those key insights, the sort of aha moments about the neuroscience behind great teams.
And how understanding this wiring can actually help us build stronger, more effective teams in practice.
Right. And Andreatta introduces this framework, the team models, which sounds really useful. We'll definitely circle back to that.
Right, well, it's central to her approach.
But first things first, this core idea. Our brains are literally built for connection. Where does the book start laying that foundation?
Well, it kicks off with the concept of the social brain. Basically, specific parts and networks in our brain that evolved specifically to handle social interaction, understanding others, cooperation.
Because we evolved in groups, right? Survival depended on it.
Precisely. And this need for connection isn't just, a preference. It's incredibly deep-seated.
Yeah, the book makes this incredible point about social pain versus physical pain. Can you elaborate on that? It kind of reframes everything.
It really does.
Okay.
Brain imaging studies show something quite startling. When someone experiences social exclusion, being left out, rejected, the brain regions that activate are, well, largely the same ones that light up when you feel physical pain.
Wow. So feeling ignored by your team isn't just you being sensitive. Your brain is actually interpreting that as a threat, like a physical injury almost.
That's the implication. It signals danger. It underscores that belonging isn't just nice to have. It's a fundamental biological need, like air or water.
Which explains why things like workplace bullying or isolation can have such devastating effects.
Absolutely. And conversely, strong social connections. They're vital for our overall health. We're talking better immune function, lower anxiety and depression rates, even improved cognitive function like memory, especially as we age. Connection keeps us healthy and sharp.
Okay, so connection is crucial. What's happening in the brain, like chemically or structurally, to make this social stuff work?
Yeah, the book points to several key players. You've got mirror neurons, for instance.
Ah, yes. Those are fascinating. They help us understand what others are feeling.
Kind of, yeah. They fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform that same action. It's thought to be crucial for empathy, imitation, learning, understanding intentions.
Okay. What else?
Then there are the neurochemicals. Oxytocin often gets called the bonding hormone or trust hormone. It's released during positive social interactions and helps build attachment.
Right.
Dopamine is involved too. That's part of the reward system. Cooperating successfully gives us a little dopamine hit, which reinforces that behavior, makes us want to do it again.
Makes sense.
And serotonin plays a role in social status, confidence within the group, that feeling of belonging. It's a whole cocktail working together.
So a complex system designed to make us connect. Okay, how does this biological wiring translate into the day-to-day dynamics of a team?
This is where it gets really practical. Andreatta explains that team formation and function follow predictable neurological patterns. One key thing our brains do, automatically and very quickly, is categorize people. Us versus them. In-group, out-group.
Oh, the tribal instinct. That sounds like it could be tricky in a team environment.
It can be. It helps build loyalty within the U.S. group, sure. But it can also lead to unconscious bias, make integration harder, and potentially create friction with perceived outsiders.
So awareness of that tendency is step one.
Definitely. And then there's trust. The book emphasizes that trust isn't just, a feeling or a decision. It has neurological roots. Our brains build a map of trust based on consistent, reliable behavior over time. Predictability builds trust neurologically.
So saying trust me means less than actually being trustworthy consistently. The actions literally wire the brain for trust.
Exactly. Which leads directly to another huge concept in the book. Psychological safety.
Right, I've heard a lot about that. The feeling that it's okay to speak up, take risks, even fail without being punished.
And Andreatta positions this as the optimal brain state for team performance. When people feel psychologically safe, their brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, is calm.
Ah, so they're not in fight or flight mode.
Precisely.
Huh.
That frees up resources in the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for higher level thinking, problem solving, creativity, collaboration.
Whereas a lack of safety triggers that threat response.
And basically shuts down effective teamwork. People get defensive, closed off, less willing to contribute ideas, performance suffers.
It's a direct neurological link.
Yeah.
Threat state is bad for teams.
Yeah.
Safety state, good for teams.
We got it.
So Given all this, the social brain, the in-group, out-group stuff, trust, psychological safety, what are some practical things teams can actually do?
The book offers quite a few. For starters, when forming a team, be intentional about activities that create positive social bonds. Shared experiences, maybe even a bit of fun. That helps accelerate the we-ness.
Building that in-group feeling constructively.
Right. And establishing team rituals.
Yeah.
Even small, regular things can reinforce identity and belonging. Think like a specific way you start meetings or celebrate wins.
Creates predictability and shared culture.
Also, being really clear about who is on the team and what the boundaries are. Clarity reduces uncertainty, which the brain likes.
Makes sense. Less ambiguity.
And fundamentally, it loops back to trust. Leaders and team members consistently demonstrating reliable, fair, transparent behavior. That's the bedrock. You have to build it neuron by neuron through actions.
These are such concrete takeaways. It's not just abstract theory. Understanding the brain gives you a kind of roadmap.
It really does. It shows that great teamwork isn't magic. It's about intentionally creating the conditions where our naturally social brains can thrive.
Which, as you mentioned, leads into her team model. Can you give us just a quick overview of what that involves?
Sure. So TEAM stands for 4 essential elements that Andreatta argues are crucial for high-performing teams. They are trust, engagement, alignment, and maximizing potential.
Okay, trust, engagement, alignment, maximizing potential.
Yes. And the key point is that each of these has distinct neurological underpinnings. You can't just focus on one. You need all 4 firing together for a team to really hit its stride.
And these aren't static either, right? Teams move through stages that affect these elements.
Exactly. Team development influences how these elements manifest. But let's maybe dig into trust first, since we've touched on it already. It's really the foundation.
You trust. We know it's built neurologically through consistent behavior. What else?
Well, the brain is constantly, often subconsciously assessing, is this person trustworthy? Is this situation safe? It's a continuous background process. And when trust is present, it creates that psychological safety we talked about. That's what allows people to be vulnerable, to share ideas, to take calculated risks, which is essential for innovation and creativity.
Makes sense. Safety allows for risk-taking.
But when trust is broken, that activates strong threat responses in the brain. It's perceived as a major violation, and rebuilding it can be really, really difficult. The brain remembers betrayal.
So, practically speaking, how do teams build and maintain this crucial trust?
Andrea suggests several ways. One is vulnerability-based trust team members sharing appropriately, showing they're human, admitting mistakes. That builds connection.
Being real, essentially.
Yes. Another is reliability. Do what you say you're going to do. Follow through on commitments. That builds the neurological expectation of dependability.
Consistency again.
Clear, open, frequent communication is vital. And if trust is breached, addressing it quickly and directly is crucial rather than letting it fester.
Okay, so trust is the base. What's the next element? Engagement.
Engagement, yes. This is about connecting people emotionally and cognitively to their work and the team. It's more than just satisfaction. It's about commitment, energy, feeling involved.
And this has a brain basis, too.
Absolutely. Engagement taps into the brain's reward system. When work feels meaningful, when we feel like we're contributing to something important, when we have a sense of purpose that releases dopamine and other feel-good chemicals.
So connecting the work to a larger purpose is key for engagement.
Hugely important. Also, giving people autonomy control over their work tends to boost engagement. Micromanagement, on the other hand, often triggers threat responses and kills engagement.
Right, feeling controlled is a threat.
And interestingly, engagement or disengagement can be contagious. Remember those mirror neurons? We can unconsciously pick up on the moods and attitudes of those around us.
So one disengaged person can really pull down the team vibe.
They can. It's also worth noting that different personalities might engage differently. What motivates one person might not motivate another, so a one-size-fits-all approach often fails. Tailoring is better.
Good point. Okay, so trust, engagement. What's alignment about?
Alignment is about getting everyone on the same page, pointing in the same direction. Things shared goals, shared understanding, clarity on roles and priorities.
How does this connect to the brain?
Alignment actually reduces cognitive load. When everyone understands the plan and their part in it, the brain doesn't have to waste energy figuring things out or dealing with conflicting information. It creates a shared mental model.
Less confusion, more clarity. Frees up mental resources.
Exactly. Misalignment, conversely, creates neural conflict. It's confusing, frustrating, and wastes valuable mental energy that could be used for actual work. The brain craves clarity.
So clear goals and expectations aren't just good management. They literally help the brain function better in a team context.
Precisely. And alignment also speeds up decision-making and coordination because everyone's working from a common understanding.
Makes sense. Practical tips for fostering alignment.
Be really explicit about shared goals. Write them down. Talk about them often. Visual aids like strategy maps or clear process diagrams can help create those shared mental models. Having clear frameworks for how decisions are made reduces ambiguity. And regular check-ins to ensure everyone is still aligned are crucial, especially when things change.
Got it. Trust, engagement, alignment that leaves maximizing potential. What does that entail?
This element is all about growth, learning, and leveraging the strengths of everyone on the team. It taps into the brain's amazing capacity for neuroplasticity, our ability to learn and adapt throughout life.
So creating an environment where people can continuously learn and grow.
Yes, and research shows that learning is often most effective and sticky when it happens in a supportive social context, like a team where it's safe to try new things and learn from mistakes. That psychological safety piece comes back again.
It all connects.
It really does. Fostering a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed, is key here. When people believe they can improve, their brains are more open to learning and developing new skills.
And the book argues that teams focused on collective growth often outperform those just focused on individual stars.
That's a major point. When the focus is on helping everyone on the team get better, leveraging diverse strengths, and learning together, the entire team's capability grows.
So how can teams actively maximize potential?
By building a strong learning culture, making it normal to ask questions, share knowledge, experiment, providing growth-oriented feedback, focusing on development rather than just judgment, intentionally designing roles or projects to leverage individual strengths, but also providing opportunities to stretch and develop new skills. And importantly, celebrating progress and learning, not just final outcomes.
Trust, engagement, alignment, maximizing potential. It's a really comprehensive model, grounded in how our brains actually work.
It is, and the core message of Wired to Connect is that you can intentionally cultivate these elements. Exceptional teamwork isn't just luck. It's about understanding our social wiring and designing teams accordingly.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems to be that our brains are fundamentally social organs. And effective teamwork hinges on creating environments that align with this wiring environment built on trust, fostering engagement, ensuring alignment, and enabling growth.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from just managing tasks to actively cultivating the human dynamics that drive performance based on actual neuroscience.
A really powerful perspective. Thank you for unpacking that.
My pleasure. It's fascinating stuff.
So for everyone listening, maybe a final thought to mull over inspired by this discussion. Think about a team you're part of right now.
Yeah.
Considering this neurological need for connection, safety, clarity, and growth.
Mm-hmm.
What's maybe one small specific thing you could do or suggest to strengthen one of those team elements within your group? How could you better align with that natural wiring?
It's definitely something worth reflecting on. Even small changes can make a difference when they tap into these fundamental needs.
Indeed. Thanks again for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring those connections.